Food in space is very special. It is not like the food you eat at home. When astronauts go into space, they are far away. They cannot just go to a shop for a snack, so they must bring all their food with them. This food needs to be light. It also needs to last a very long time. Scientists work hard to make this food safe. They also try to make it tasty for the astronauts. Eating well is super important when you are orbiting Earth. It helps keep astronauts healthy and happy during their mission. Astronauts need good food for many reasons. Living and working in space is hard work. Your body changes in space. You need the right nutrients to stay strong. Food gives astronauts energy to do their jobs. These jobs can be science experiments. They can be spacewalks to fix the station. Without good food, astronauts would get tired. They might not be able to think clearly. So good food is like good fuel for a car. It keeps the astronaut engine running smoothly. It helps them perform at their best. Good food also helps astronauts feel good emotionally. Imagine being far from home for many months. You miss your family and friends. You miss Earth. Sometimes a familiar meal can make a big difference. It can remind you of home. It can be a comfort. Astronauts can even choose some of their favorite foods. This makes mealtime something to look forward to. It is a small piece of normal life. This is very important when you are in an extraordinary place like space. It helps keep spirits high. The food astronauts eat has changed a lot over time. In the early days of space travel, things were very basic. Astronauts ate food squeezed from tubes. It was like toothpaste. Some food was in a powder form. They had to add water to it. It was not always very tasty. But now, space food is much better. There is a bigger variety. Astronauts can eat things like shrimp cocktail or spaghetti. They can even have some fresh fruits sometimes. This makes a big difference for long missions. Better food makes for happier astronauts. Before an astronaut goes to space, they help choose their food. This is a fun part of the preparation. There are food tasting sessions. Astronauts try many different types of space food. They give scores to each dish. This helps the food scientists know what astronauts like. It is important to have food you enjoy, especially when you are on a long mission. The choices are put into a personal menu, so each astronaut gets meals they prefer. It is like planning your meals for a very long camping trip. Not all foods can go to space. There are strict rules. Food must be lightweight. It costs a lot to send things into space, so heavy food is not good. Food must also have a long shelf life. It needs to stay good for months or even years. It cannot spoil easily. That is why fresh bread is not usually taken. Bread makes crumbs. Crumbs are a big problem in space. They float everywhere. They can get into equipment. They can even get into an astronaut's eyes. So, tortillas are often used instead of bread. So, what foods are not allowed? As I said, crumbly foods like bread or cookies are a no-go. Things that need refrigeration are also difficult. Space stations have limited fridge space, so most food is shelf-stable. Carbonated drinks like soda are also not ideal. The bubbles behave differently in zero gravity. They do not separate from the liquid easily. This can make astronauts feel gassy and uncomfortable. Also, very salty food is often avoided. It can affect an astronaut's body in space. We have to be careful. Space food is packaged in very special ways. Many foods are dehydrated. This means all the water is taken out. This makes them very light. Astronauts add water back before they eat. Other foods are thermostabilized. This is like canned food on Earth. The food is cooked in a pouch. This kills any bacteria, so it stays safe to eat for a long time. Some foods are irradiated. This also helps preserve them. The packaging is designed to be easy to open. It also stops food from floating away. Every detail is thought about carefully. Eating in zero gravity is very different from eating on Earth. Here, gravity keeps your food on your plate. If you drop your fork, it falls to the floor. But in space, everything floats. If you let go of your food, it will just drift away. This is the biggest challenge. Astronauts have to learn new ways to eat. They cannot have an open plate of peas. The peas would fly everywhere. It sounds fun, but it can be very messy. So we have to be very careful during mealtimes. To manage floating food, astronauts use special techniques. Most food is in pouches or containers. Liquids are in special drink bags with straws. These straws have clamps. This stops the liquid from squirting out. When eating solid food, astronauts often use spoons or forks, but they move slowly and carefully. Sticky foods are easier to manage. Things like macaroni and cheese tend to stay on the spoon. Astronauts also use trays. These trays can be attached to their laps or a wall. The food packages stick to the tray with Velcro or magnets. Something interesting happens to your sense of taste in space. Many astronauts find that food tastes blander. This is because in zero gravity, fluids in your body shift upwards. This can make your head feel stuffy. It is like having a cold. When you have a cold, you cannot smell things well, and smell is a big part of taste. So, astronauts often prefer spicier foods in space. Hot sauce is very popular on the International Space Station. It helps to make the food more flavorful. A little spice can make a meal much more enjoyable. Cleaning up after meals is also different in space. You cannot just wipe crumbs onto the floor, because there is no floor in that sense. Crumbs and spills must be carefully controlled. Astronauts use wet wipes or special vacuum cleaners. These help to catch any floating bits of food. It is very important to keep the spacecraft clean. Floating food particles can get into air filters. They can also get into sensitive equipment and cause problems. So being tidy at mealtime is part of an astronaut's job. Everyone helps to keep our space home clean. The kitchen in a spacecraft is called a galley. It is not like your kitchen at home. It is usually quite small. There is no big stove or oven. Most space food is already cooked, or it just needs water added. The galley has a water dispenser. This provides hot and cold water. Astronauts use this to rehydrate their food. There is also a small food warmer. This can heat up food pouches. It is a simple setup, but it has everything needed to prepare meals in orbit. It is a very efficient little kitchen. Drinking liquids in space is also a unique experience. You cannot just pour a drink into an open cup. The liquid would float out. It would form a sphere. Then it would break into smaller spheres. This would be a mess. So astronauts drink from special pouches. These pouches have a straw. The straw has a valve or a clip. This stops the drink from escaping. Astronauts squeeze the pouch to drink. Water, juice, and coffee are all enjoyed this way. It is a clever solution to a tricky problem. Astronauts have many favorite meals. Shrimp cocktail is a classic. It has been popular since the early Apollo missions. The tangy sauce is especially good when your taste is a bit dull. Macaroni and cheese is another comfort food favorite. Things like tortillas are great because they are versatile. You can put anything in them. Peanut butter is also a staple. I always enjoyed sharing meals with my crewmates. We would often try each other's food. It was a good way to bond. We even had special occasion foods for holidays. Mealtime in space is more than just eating. It is an important social time. Crew members often eat together. They talk about their day, they share stories. This helps to build teamwork. It also provides a break from work. Good food and good company are important. They help astronauts stay healthy and happy. A fun fact, salt and pepper are not powders in space. They are liquids. Powdered salt and pepper would float everywhere. So they are dissolved in water or oil. It is just another little adjustment to life in orbit.